So, John, tell me a little bit about yourself, about the
Yeah,
music.
yeah. Well, I was originally I was trying to be a novelist, and I used to write a lot of fiction. And I came to Nashville with an idea for a novel, and was doing research in 2019. And part of that research was writing songs and playing some rounds about town and stuff like that. And by the time 2020 rolled around, I decided that I wanted to pursue the music instead, be a songwriter. Um, fast forward 4 years later, and I'm deep in the Nashville scene and all. Still working on the novel and stuff. I started working on that this year, but obviously the music has taken precedence, and I didn't really grow up on a whole lot of country and everything. But when I moved to Nashville, I really dug into a lot of the old stuff and a lot of the old outlaw stuff, and I studied guys like Willie Nelson quite a bit. So that kind of got me to where I'm at as far as my sound and everything. It really influenced me a lot. And yeah, here we are.
So, who would who's your big influence?
Um, it's tough to say, man. It's it's always changing. Definitely, Willie was a big one. Um, I get a lot of inspiration from the blues as well, and so in my college years, I listened to a lot of John Mayer, and that kind of opened up some more appreciation for me and my music. And to dig more into the blues, I ended up kind of finding myself in the 70s with a lot of music. I listened to a lot of Allman Brothers and Marshall Tucker Band and stuff like that. And then kind of fell into a lot of the songwriters at that time, like James Taylor and Paul Simon, Willie, and all those folks. So not really, I can't really say who as an artist, but I will say that the 70s as an era of music really inspired me a lot.
Is there have you played any shows with them at all?
No, I never have. I I sat next to Willie in a bar one time, but that's about as close as I've gotten to that.
Who would you want to go on tour with if you got the chance to?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would say right now, I would love to go on tour with somebody like a Chris Stapleton. Or even I'm a big Post Malone fan, and so actually he put out his country album, and I'd love to go on tour with that guy. That'd be cool.
Didn't he make Oreos or something?
What's that?
Did they make just Oreos in it like it just came out in stores or something?
Maybe, maybe.
I don't know.
I
I
believe it.
just but it was funny. Um
He's a character.
what have you been collaborating with anybody?
Yeah. I mean, even just today, I was writing with a couple buddies of mine. I write most days during the week. Um, a lot of co-writes. Usually, 10 or 11 a.m. Meet up with two, three people, and or even just one other person. I had a one-on-one write with somebody yesterday, and that's kind of the regular. Uh, what's the word? Routine for a lot of us in
Mm.
Nashville specifically. I'd say we're all writing during the day, and I'm lucky enough to have a full time day job, but I'm remote, and so I can be pretty flexible with it. So I do a lot of my writing during the morning, and I'm working as well in a rehearsal space once a month with my band, just trying to figure out the sound and stuff on a lot of the songs that I've got. So yeah, there's a lot of collaboration involved. Absolutely.
Do you have a specific kind of song that you're writing now?
Say that again.
Is there like a specific song that you're writing now that is like you're working on that's really different than
I
your
well, yeah, absolutely. But it's finished. Well, actually, it isn't finished. There's a couple lines I want to tighten up in it, but there's one song I wrote recently. It's called Joni Mitchell Blue, and it's inspired by her album from I think it was '70s. Um, but I wrote that with Kimberly Atwood and Cameron Merrill, and that has been a song that I love playing that song, and I've been playing it. I mean, we only wrote it like 2 weeks ago, and I've been playing it as much as I can. I really enjoy it, and it's a song about loving a woman who struggles with I guess depression, has kind of like a bluer side to her. But it's a really cool song.
well, the song that you sent me, I played it a lot, and I like it a lot.
Thank you, man. Was that what did I send you? Emerald Queen? Was that the one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the new release. Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's I have the project that I'm working on now. I'm putting it out in volumes, of about 4 songs a piece. I put the first one out last Friday, and it includes that song, Emerald Queen, and then 3 others, and they're just work tapes, so they're just recordings off my iPhone that I've put through mastering to make sure the quality's all up to shape as far as the levels and things like that. But otherwise, they're just straight off the phone. It's a little bit of a different project, but I appreciate your comments on that.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, I do music on the side as well.
Oh yeah.
I do like spoken word.
Oh, very cool. You mentioned that. Yeah, I think that's awesome, man. I used to go to a lot of spoken word events and stuff like that, and like poetry events when I was in college.
I mean, it's just something I love to do, and I just been writing and also working with some people, and
Oh yeah.
so it's kind of nice to do something like that.
Yeah. Great. That's awesome, man. That's I imagine you probably feel the same way that I do about it. I originally was drawn to music because it's an outlet, for all the stuff in my head, but also like a lot of the emotions that I deal with and that sort of thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
music, spoken word, poetry, literature in any way is just like a massive outlet for me.
I would say it's tough writing,
Hmm.
trying to like figure out like sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. And it's
Yeah.
hard to write a song.
Yeah. No, it is tough. Well, and the co-writes, I don't know if you've ever tried writing with anybody else, but the co-writes, you get to those moments like I had one today where you're rolling on a song, you write a verse or something, or you get a few good lines, and then you just kind of come to this standstill. And sometimes, I've been stuck for hours on parts of a song or something like that with a group of people, and we just can't find the right lines. And it can be a pretty frustrating and you know time consuming process. It takes a good bit of patience.
Well, I did have a song that I recorded. Um, it was stuck in my phone, and I said I need to get this out. So I
Yeah.
asked a band in Canada to see if they would work with me on the music part, and
Oh hell yeah.
they said they would, and then it came out great.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
So
Have you ever reached out to any Nashville artists for that sort of thing?
I've tried,
Yeah, it's tough, man. I
but
mean, this town, a lot of people are working, constantly on their stuff, and it's hard to fit it in a lot of those projects.
I have a friend in Nashville. Um, her name is Mary Jennings, and then
Okay.
and I've been following her for years. But she's a great musician, plays on piano all the time.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, there's a lot of very talented people down here. I was blown away and also very discouraged when I first came to town, and even before I got into town. Uh, After I decided I wanted to be a songwriter, COVID was in full swing in 2020, and I remember that summer I took a lot of guitar lessons and practiced a lot, and I looked at the scene here in Nashville to see kind of what was going on and that sort of thing. And um, there was so much talent, and a lot of youth as well. And I'm 35, and I just started pursuing music at 30, 31. So I was very intimidated by the whole process.
Well, you're doing well. I mean, with the music that you've
Thank
been
you.
sending.
I appreciate that.
Do you have a favorite song that you've been just want to get out there but hasn't been written?
I would say I do have a song that it's finished. I've always wanted to put it out, but it's I actually wrote it for a TV show that I was competing in. It was like a band competition. It's called Banded. I did it a couple years ago, and so some of the rights for that song are tied up in that show. But and I've also not really quite figured out what my sound is as far as putting out more of the band, full band stuff. And it's a very rocky, like rowdy song, and people love it. Everyone always asks me when am I putting that out, and I've always wanted to put it out, but it's just one of those things that for one, it's not the right time, and two, I got to figure out all the the situation with the rights and stuff like that, and if I can put it out and how to put it out and everything. But that's definitely one that I've been holding on to for a long time, and I'd really like to see it out there.
So you're saying you got one of your songs sent to a show?
I actually wrote it for the show, on the show. It was like a sort of like an American Idol sort of thing, but not quite. And they paired us up with random people, put us in a band. They were all, well, actually, they weren't Nashville based. They were all over the world. And we had to write 6 songs throughout the time of the show. It was about an 8-week recording process, I believe. And then we competed with those songs as a band. And so it was the full process. You write the songs, you rehearse the songs, you play them in front of a crowd on a proper stage, a big stage in the middle of Nashville, at the auditorium there. And that was the first song that we wrote for that show. So you can actually hear it on the show, one version of it, the original version. It's the first or second episode of the show whenever they do the first competition. But yeah, I haven't put it out myself yet.
Have you put any other songs on TV shows?
No. I have been looking into sync in order to that's getting songs on movies and shows and that sort of thing, even commercials and all that. So I would like to look into that sort of thing more. I write a lot of songs that are very people say syncable, and a lot of stuff that, because of my outlaw music and the brand that I've created for myself, it's a lot of stuff that people suggest for Yellowstone, and there's a lot of shows coming out that are very similar to that as well. But so hopefully I can get them on some shows in the future. But other than the Banded TV show that I was on, I haven't gotten anything else on the big screen yet.
Do you have a favorite show that you would want one of your songs to be played on?
Hmm. I would say maybe well, it's not running anymore, but I don't watch a whole lot of TV now, but I used to watch Sons of Anarchy, and it would have been cool to have a song on Sons of Anarchy when it was running.
Is there a favorite like place in Nashville you like to sit around and drink? I don't know, just drink.
Yeah. I used to go to I still go to the local a lot. The local is a local bar, and it's where a lot of songwriters hang out. They have a lot of writers rounds there, and it's just a good solid hang there. A lot of us know the owner there. He's there often. It's a great guy, Jeff. That's definitely one of my top three bars here in Nashville, and I spend a lot of time. I'm not drinking right now. I haven't been drinking for a couple months, but I used to spend a lot of time just kind of sitting over a beer and thinking about life and songs and that sort of thing, or hashing out uh, stuff with my buddies over a beer. So definitely have spent quite a bit of time doing that.
What's one song that you are like wanting to do more of? Like, do you have any music videos?
I have it might still be up. I put up an old music video of an acoustic song I did a few years back when I was just starting out. But other than that, I don't have any music videos out other than just lyric videos. Uh, I would definitely the song that I one of the first song that I put out, "Ghost Town in the Sky." I would love to do a music video for that song. Um, so we'll see. Maybe one day.
What's the process of like writing a song?
Um, Usually it starts with what we call a hook, and so or like a title. Um, and me, like most people, like myself, in my phone, I go into my notes on my phone, and I've got hundreds of hooks or titles, or even just random lyrics, um, or even just ideas as far as a song about something. And we'll get into a room together uh, and kind of go around the room and you know, ask questions like, "What do you feel like writing today?" or um, "What's going on? What's new in your life?" That sort of thing. What's been on your brain? Does anybody have a book uh, or a concept they want to throw out there? And I usually go into my phone first thing after a little bit of conversation and everything, and see where other people are at or if they got ideas. And then I'll go into my phone and go through all the hooks. Um, and for those that don't know, hook is just kind of the last line of the chorus. Usually turns out to be the title, but not always. And so yeah, we'll just kind of look through those and compare and compare notes and decide kind of what we're feeling and what direction to go in and that sort of thing.
It's I would say it's hard writing the song, but
Hmm.
I guess just have to figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, and we usually get like a verse, um, or sometimes we'll start with a chorus. But once we get maybe a verse and a chorus, maybe take a little break, um, and then come back and knock out a second verse or bridge or whatever else it needs.
Do you put the music with it? Like with
Yeah,
your
so usually we'll write on a guitar, um, and we'll have either one person or a few of us sitting around picking on the guitars. Um, but sometimes some people will prefer to write on a piano. If there's a piano in the room, we'll mess around with that. Or what a lot of people do in Nashville is they write to a track, and so you'll have a track guy in the room, and he usually has a handful of pre-made loops, um, of just like something cool musically.
Mm.
And we'll go through kind of all of those and see which one hits us, which one we like. And then we'll just put it on repeat and write to that loop. I've done that a few times. It's different, but it can be really fun and really beneficial. Um, for me personally, when I sit down to write a song by myself, I do a lot of solo writing as well. It's usually just me and my guitar, and I'll start playing something, whatever touches me, and just kind of start running with it. And sometimes I'll pull out a hook out of my notes, but a lot of times myself, I'll just kind of follow the feel of the song and just kind of say what comes to my head.
What's what's one of your favorite systems? Like when you record a song or something.
Um, like a program to record the song on.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? I don't have too much of a preference. I do have Pro Tools on my computer. I like that one. It's a little complicated, but I can do some basic recording. Um, but I usually just kind of leave that stuff to the engineers and all when you get to the studio.
Do you ever use your garage band at all?
I never had used GarageBand. I was never much of an Apple guy, um, so I've never tried it.
It's I guess it's the same as um uh I guess basic um programs.
Hmm.
I mean, I use it,
Yeah,
but it's easy. I guess
yeah.
it's easy.
It definitely. I was very interested in it for a long time because it seems very easy to use.
It's just to get the chords down there and just get it. Because I mean, it has everything in it. So
Hmm. Yeah.
if somebody wanted to become a musician, what's the what would they have to do?
Um, well, I mean, if you want to be a musician, just pick up an instrument, I suppose. Um, uh, Obviously, there's a lot of different routes you could do, but if you're living in just a if you're living in Nashville, there's a lot more opportunities as far as practicing with other people or getting gigs, getting your first gigs. I think if somebody wanted to be a working musician, um, pick up an instrument, start learning, take some lessons online or wherever, and then um, get a small PA system, something not too expensive, and start calling bars, going into places, and seeing if where has live music and if they'd be interested in having you. And usually you want some videos of you singing, just in your bedroom or something, just to show that you can hold a note. Um, and then eventually people, you can get some videos of you playing live and people's reaction. Bar owners and venue owners like to see how you interact with the crowd and that sort of thing. And that's a great start right there. I mean, if you got yourself a PA system and an instrument and a few lessons under your belt, and you learn some covers, that's definitely, I highly recommend. If you want to do cover gigs and that sort of thing, and then start making money off of it as a live musician, I would say try to get down, you know, a few hundred covers. And of course, that could take a couple years or so or a year or so to learn those songs, depending on how much time you got on your hands. But usually those kind of cover gigs are 3 to 4 hours, and you want to have 300 to 400 songs or so that you can bounce around And then the other side of it too is you don't necessarily have to be a live musician. You could just be what we call a session player, um, who like a guitar player that we'd bring in to play guitar on one of my songs or something, make a living doing that, and um, or just making your own music on a system like you mentioned, like a Apple or a Garage Band or Pro Tools. And the nice thing about that is you can just kind of make your own music, put it out when you want to, do things by your own rules, and you could make a career just sitting at home and never have to play a live show ever. So there's definitely, depending on the style of music you do, there's a lot of opportunity for that as well.
Where can people listen to your music at?
All streaming platforms. I usually listen to mine on Spotify, but it's on Apple, it's on Pandora Radio if you listen to Pandora. Um, I don't have a whole lot of stuff on SoundCloud if there's anybody that listens to SoundCloud, but most streaming platforms, I'm out there.
Well, thanks for coming on and talking to me.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate you having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome. Anytime. I would love to have you back on here and talk more about music and all.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe a little later this year, I can reach out to you once I get some more releases out there and we can talk about the new music and stuff.
All right, that sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, I'll let you know when this is all up and all.
Yeah, please do. I appreciate you, Daniel.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
I'll see you.